Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is the season for creepy, so let's build something creepy, guys. This is going to be a Creepy Apothecary, and this is going to be part one of 2 videos. So let's get started. So here I am, you can see I'm just starting to glue together some balsa wood. This is going on a plywood canvas actually for painting. I thought this was going to be the perfect base to use. So that's what I used for the base, and I just glued on some balsa wood, and this was a scrap piece of MDF that I had hanging around. Thought I better use it put it to good use, you know, instead of throwing stuff away, not using things that I have. So that's what I did. So anyway, this is a diorama, and I'm just basically gluing the frame together. So this is what it's going to look like. Everything's going to be built inside these 3 panels. So this is how it started off. It was really simple. Glue it up, make sure it stays. So after that was all done, I decided to paint the back. The back is just going to be a black paint. You know, it's something to finish it off, but I really don't care what the back looks like. So this was just a black paint, and that's all I did on the back there. So after that was done, you can see that it's all black there. So I started to move on, and what I did next was I started to paint the inside. Now the inside here was all, I wanted a really cool color, and it was like this blood maroon sort of color that I decided to paint the inside. I want this apothecary or spice shop or whatever we want to call this thing that I'm making. I wanted it to have this really interesting feeling from the color. So painted it that burgundy. Turned out really well. So then I moved on to the floor. This is a piece of foam core board. So I took the paper off, which was kind of a nightmare. It was the black style. And then I just started scribing some wood grain into this piece of foam. And I used a couple of different techniques. I used tweezers, and I started to just gouge away at it, draw some lines, and then I used a wire brush on it as well. So between those 2 items, the wood grain actually came out really well. There were some deep spots, there was a little bit of gouging on it, so the texture looked pretty cool. So after that, I kind of drew some lines, and I cut about halfway through with my X-Acto knife, and then I used a pencil, and I went through the lines just to make it look more like wood paneling. So there you can see there, turned out pretty good. And now I'm just going to put a custom brown color here. Added a little bit of black. I added a little bit of, I think it was a red, just a tiny bit of a red color anyway. And painted that whole thing up. So that's the floor. That was super simple. And I have no idea what I did there. I don't know if that was my breath that made that whole panel move, or it was some spirit, but it was kind of creepy after watching the playback on that. Anyway, so I took that floor panel, put some hot glue on it, and then just glued it to the plywood base, that canvas base. And after that, did the standard things that you do, some dry brushing, some black wash, just to make it all look really interesting, getting all those details to come out. So that's what I did. I did a dry brush, then I did a black wash, and then I did another dry brush on top of that, just to give it some really good look, interesting look to it. So then after that, I wanted to make the inside of this look pretty realistic. So I wanted to have some trim on the walls, on the floor. So I added just some pieces of balsa wood that I painted black, and that's just going to trim the top of the wall and the floor there. And it looks really cool here. I added some extra pieces up top to build it out, to have a little bit more of an interesting look for the molding up there. So here I am starting to build the shelves on the back of the shop. And again, this was all balsa wood. Just cut it to the size that I thought would look half decent, painted it up black, And then because of that molding on the top of the roof there, I had to actually etch out the vertical stabilizers for the shelves. And it turned out really cool though. It really made it finish. It really looked interesting when it was cut out in the shape of that molding and then put in there that I glued it in. It was pretty cool. I like the way it turned out. So then I grabbed some other pieces, painted that maroon, the same color as the wall there, and glued it to the front of those vertical pieces. And what that did was that it kind of finished the shelving, the vertical shelving part of it anyway. It made it look really, really good. So added a little bit more on top there, as you can see, and then continued on with the shelves. So here it is, just some more balsa wood. You know, I had quite a big bag of this stuff laying around, and I haven't really used too much balsa wood in my projects. So this one I kind of went crazy, and yeah, just painted it up nice and black. These are going to be the horizontal panels for the shelves in the back. So some more balsa wood, continuing on with this theme. I'm building the desk now, and this desk this was really easy actually to build. And at this point I was like, you know what, perfect, desk is built, I'm gonna put it in there. And then I thought, you know what, no, this is not done. I want this to look better than it does. So I cut up some strips of balsa wood and started putting it onto the sides of this desk here. And this is going to give it just some more, like more of a wood paneling look. Check that out. That turned out really, really good. I'm really happy with that. And I also have some trim, some base trim on the bottom of that desk. So after a bit of time painting that up, same color as the walls, it turned out pretty good. You know, like there's going to be a little bit more detail I'm going to add to it, but it turned out pretty good. So moving on here, I'm just gluing in the shelf portions on the back wall. And this was pretty easy, just again, taking those pieces of balsa wood that I painted and just hot gluing them in. Those front pieces on the shelving help hide the side of the balsa wood for the shelves, so that's really cool. So after that desk was dry, I painted the base, that base board there on that desk black, and glued it into place. And this is really starting to come together. It's really, really looking good. So here I found some books in my never-ending drawers full of stuff. These books, I had no idea what I was going to use them for. They were never really the right size. And as I was looking through my stuff for things to put into this project, these books were right in front of me, and they were the perfect size. Like, I could not have asked for a better size. So boom, I took them. They were already painted like from when they were made, so I just did a little bit of a dry brush on them and glued them in. Same with this this Egyptian statue here. Just this is a plastic thing that got for really, really cheap. So I decided, just, you know what, let's add a little bit of dry brush, make it look a little bit more weathered, make it look a little more authentic. And I thought that, you know, this is a weird shop. This is going to look good on the side of the shelf. I'm going to glue it down. It's going to be, you know, a centerpiece, kind of like a discussion piece, I guess you could say. So this took a fair amount of time. You know, there's a lot of detail in this so far, but guys, wait till you see what I've got coming up. It is going to blow your mind, because it blows my mind. It looks really, really good. All right, guys, here's the video. Take it easy. We'll see you again.